Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Everybody joining us. It feels like a long day. It's been a long week, like a really long week for LSU athletics. Man, from Friday to Friday, it has been a whirlwind of emotion when it comes to LSU athletics. But it's going to be a great show. As always, guys, as always, do us a favor. As we're starting the show, do us a favor, hitting that like and hitting the share. I appreciate everybody. I see a lot of people are going to our YouTube channel and subscribing there for the $100 gift card giveaway. So after the show, don't forget to go to YouTube right up here at Are You Serious Sports and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and you will get your name in the drawing for the $100 gift card. We put a poll out on Twitter on where that's going to go. It looks like it might be walk-ons right now, so that's cool. That's cool. Walk-ons or academy. But it's going to be fun no matter what. We have a great show in store for you. Zach Pearson is not going to be able to join us tonight, but it's okay. He'll be back with us next week. LSU DC coaching carousel. Is it coming to a close here? Is LSU running out of options, or do they have their guy? Some more sourcing came along to me today. Also, we haven't done this in about, I don't know, maybe month and a half, maybe. Hashtag Ruffino's rants. Urban Meyer's back in football. I might tee off on a little bit of Urban Meyer, but I might even laugh at him a little bit because it looks like he's bringing Scott Linehan as his offensive coordinator. Jeez, Pete's. Also, we'll talk some Saints and Bucks as well. But before we get to all that, guys, I really appreciate our good partners over at Believe Podcast. And you know what time it is, and we got to talk about our good friends over at GM Varnado & Sons. GM Varnado & Sons has faithfully been serving your Denham Springs and Baton Rouge area for over 62 years. With your highly trained technicians, there's absolutely nothing that they can't do. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, truck repair, routine maintenance, tire repair, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. And for the AYS law firm, all you got to do is pick up the phone whenever you need the best attorney, literally in Louisiana. Always doing great stuff for us and anybody that needs them. The Drake Law Firm. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600. Or go see them at 154 West Pine Street, Ponchatoula, Louisiana, and tell them Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. I saw a comment here. Mark says, "What's up, B-Ruff? What's happening, guys? Everybody, what's going on?" I don't see it anymore. Tim Graves, my old high school classmate. What's up, Tim? Good to see you, brother. Hope all is well. Dale Broussard says, "Ask Blake, what's Dare Rosenthal doing?" Well, he's got until tomorrow or Monday, I think, to technically declare. Well, if he doesn't declare, then he's got to come back. But it would seem like he's coming back. The longer this goes out, the more it tends to lean that players come back. I saw the comment, but I can't see it. Oh, here it is. Blaine asked this. He said, "As Blake, sources say you are Jordy's replacement, and can you confirm?" Let me say this, man. Jordy Culotta has been one of the better radio hosts that we've ever had the pleasure of listening to. He was always in LSU's corner. Listen, he went after Dick Vitale when Dick Vitale was attacking LSU. He's done a lot of good things. He's been on the radio with Coach O. You got to give him a lot of praise. So Jordy Culotta, man, I don't have a drink with me right now, but cheers up to you, my friend, and I hope that you have all the success that you want to. But no, Gordy Rush nor Flynn Foster have reached out to Blake Ruffino or Are You Serious Sports. They have not. So, but we're rocking right here. Before we get started on this DC search, there's a lot of smoke about Eric Gilbert, the 5-star tight end out of Marietta, Georgia. I know that somebody in the audience asked last night. Yeah, Jamie says, "I'm stoked about having," on Facebook Live, he says, "I'm stoked about having 20 of 22 starters back next year." You might have 21. Well, I get Jacoby Stevens and Jabril Cox, but it was really, 18 technically, because Terrace Marshall started and Rick Gilbert started. So 19 or 20. But I was told today that he did reach back out to LSU. Maybe his friends tried to persuade him to leave and go elsewhere with this one-time transfer rule. And it's looking like maybe he's not going to get what he wants or can go where he wants. So, again, I still lean. I was told 85% chance he comes back. But listen, I'm going to make this very clear because my words can be misconstrued. I do not know if Arik Gilbert's coming back to LSU. It would not shock me either way, quite honestly. If he came back, fantastic. Let's get after it. Jake Peets, mentor that young man. DJ Mangas, mentor that young man, and let's get to work. But in reference to Arik Gilbert, man, I don't know. I just do not know what's going on there. Dylan Landry, what's up, Dylan? He says, hit that like. Don't be a square. Hit that like and hit that share. Yes, sir. We're going to get into this. Blake on Periscope says Urban has been with the Jags head coach for 2 hours, and he's already 0-1 with the Scott Linehan hire. He is. We're going to get to that because I'm going to tee off on him in just a minute. I'm going to tee off on Urban Meyer because it is the most Rudy Poo thing that I've ever seen. What's up, Carlton? He says, what's up, Blake? DC coaching carousel. I'm so tired of talking about this. Like, legitimately so tired about talking about the DC coaching carousel. But there's always updates. And what I want this show to be about is, hey, if I hear something, I want you to know about it. I do not see Ed Orgeron interviewing another college coach at this moment. I think that they went after, I shouldn't say, but I want to be careful here. I fully believe from what people have told me that he's not going to interview anybody else in college unless it comes down to it that some of these NFL guys don't want it. I said this last night and got myself a little bit of trouble. So let me clarify. Ed Orgeron did not interview Bo Pelini. Okay. They were on the phone. They talked. And you guys maybe remember when we had broke the story about Bo Pelini. But I'm going to tell you right now, even then, we knew that he did not interview Bo Pelini face-to-face. And it was kind of a disaster. Actually, it was a disaster. So with all of this being said, I want to make it very clear that I think that Ed Orgeron's doing the right thing this time by going out interviewing as many people as he can. Everything outside of Bo Pelini last year is a smokescreen. Every single time. Chris Richard's name has popped up more times than I know what to do with from fans, and I don't see Chris Richard being the guy that comes to LSU. Now, Schumann, the guy from Georgia, he might get an interview if things go sour, and I wouldn't mind them giving him an interview, but I don't know. And if they do an interview, it might be formality more than anything else. Because I put out more feelers today about what's going on in reference to this DC coaching search, and I was told point blank, well, it won't be all bad if the Saints lose Sunday. Okay. Sounds good. I saw this. Now, listen, look at old Cade. Cade's in the comments. Cade blocked. See you, brother. You're no longer in here. Look, let me say this too, because I see Kay Gaunt was in the stream here. If you belittle a guest of mine, if you belittle their family, if you belittle me, you're out, and we will put you on blast. Just throwing that out there. Mark Allen says, yo, Blake, I love the show. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that, man. Lamar Williams says, LSU going to the ship next year. Man, I hope so. Matt W. says, people out here in Georgia thinking he coming out here. It doesn't look that way, Matt. Talking about Arik Gilbert. It doesn't look that way. Kevin Forsyth says Cam Wire. I call it Forche, Kevin. So I might be wrong. So let me know in the comments. I don't want to mispronounce your name wrong. He says Cam Wire was a better left tackle than Rosenthal. Rosenthal had slow feet and looked like he gave up on plays after initial contact. That's just my opinion. That's a good opinion. That's a really good opinion. Dare Rosenthal's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work. Because the eye in the sky don't lie. But he does have the talent to be that dude. He does have the talent. Something else that I probably should mention before I get to Nick's comment here. Don't be surprised if James Craig, the LSU offensive line coach, his name comes up as Urban Meyer's next O-line coach. Don't be surprised if his name starts trickling out there. I don't know if it will be. I'm not saying it is, but do not be surprised if James Craig's name starts getting out there in reference to the next O-line coach for Urban Meyer. Would be interesting. He's got a lot of NFL experience. TigerBait.com, Mike Scarborough says, you just made the list, buddy. Yeah, he did make the list. Mickey on Facebook Live says, breaking news, Urban Meyer has a headache and is retiring from the head coach from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jeez. A lot of people are talking about we're about to get to Urban Meyer, man, and what are my thoughts? Because it's a big day. Like, it's a really big day. Aaron Adams Jr. on Facebook Live says, I will stand behind this. AYS Sports is legit. Like and share. Thanks, man. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all y'all's support. It's really quiet right now for LSU football. Now, LSU basketball had a big win against Arkansas last night. I was maybe a little hard on that game, but they did lose some focus. They lost a lot of focus last night. They should have blown them out. Completely blown them out. So hopefully Will Wade's able to get them going and let them and get them focused, because this team has the talent. But the DC coaching search is going to be interesting moving forward. Caleb Kelly says, what did I miss about Eric Gilbert? There is some, I know that I always have to repeat myself, but I'm going to only, do this the one time, and we'll go forward from Eric Gilbert. If you're just joining us, it looks like Eric Gilbert reached out to LSU today, and there might be a chance that he comes back. But like I'm going to say, I'm never going to put I don't know what that kid's going to do. Rhodey says, Gilbert going to Florida, ? I don't think so. I don't think so. Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee are all in some deep shh. I feel like I'm your boy off a Liar. I can't curse. They're in some deep. Dylan says, get him, B. Nothing but love and support at AYS. Yeah, man. Look, I love the support, man. I didn't expect that. Leslie says, hey, Blake, I'm a big LSU Tigers and football fan, and Ed Orgeron. Well, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard to AYS. Glad you're joining us. If it is your first time, my name is Blake Ruffino. It's right. Dang, see, I told you all the time it's backwards for me. My name's right here, Blake Ruffino. Follow us up there. $100 gift card giveaway if you go subscribe to us on YouTube. One time a day, always somebody asks me, Blake, are you charging to subscribe on YouTube? No, it's a free subscription. It just notifies you when we have videos up. Trip Block, what's up, Trip? He says, when do you think we will know something about Eric? That's a great question. It will need to be soon. It will need to be very, very soon. I say very soon because look, these guys are back on campus. You don't want to miss a half a semester and start trying to make stuff up. You don't want that to happen. So he needs to make a decision soon, and hopefully he's able to make that. Mickey says, you pronounce my name every time. Mikey? Excuse me, Mikey. Mikey? See, I'm horrible with names, guys. If I mispronounce your name, I'm deeply sorry from the bottom of my heart. All I do is we talk, I give you info, and I read your comments. Chase Orgeron, Coach O's nephew. Not really, but they're like second cousins. What's up, Chase? He says, I'm just here to have fun. But I know what you're doing, Chase. You're sitting on your couch. You just opened up a exotic beer that no one's ever heard of. You poured it in an ice cold glass, and you're sitting watching on your TV some AYS. I dig it, brother. I dig it. Before we get to Urban Meyer, I really want to get to Urban Meyer. And everybody put in your comments about Urban Meyer. What do you think? We'll do that in just a second. I can't see past right now. I think, and again, this is always so fluid. So what I tell you right now is going to change tomorrow, is going to change Saturday, going to change Sunday, and so on and so forth. But right now, if you're asking me, I cannot see past Ryan Nielsen not being your next defensive coordinator. I can't see it. Now, That's a little bit of sourcing. That's a little bit of just my gut telling me and my gut instinct and listening to Ed Orgeron yesterday. I don't know. I have dug and dug and dug to find out more information about what they're trying to do, and I've got some stuff, but I've got nothing. So we'll see. All right, let's get to a couple of these comments. You know what I should have done too? Hashtag Ask Blake. I got to remember that. Hashtag Ask Blake, and you guys can ask me a question, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's get to some Urban Meyer. Let's do this first, though. My good friend, Mr. John Patton, from Area Home Lending. Guys, give him a call today. He's saving so many people money. He saved a client today, an AYS fan and client now, $600. $600 off their mortgage. If you're thinking about buying a new home, saving money on that mortgage that you have now, or even doing that cash out refi, the timing has literally never been better. Give them a call at 225-663-2500. That's 225-663-2500. And tell them Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. Okay, Ruffino's rants. We haven't done it in a month and a half. I've been itching. Ruffino's rants and hashtag Ask Blake. Urban Meyer is back in football. Let me say this before we get to some more LSU, because you know this is a big LSU show, obviously. Am I surprised about what Urban Meyer did? No. Am I shocked? No. Did I think it was coming? Yes. Here's the problem that I have with Urban Meyer. And every one of you that has a family, you're going to get this. If you have a health concern and people are telling you you can't coach, after all that stuff that happened at Ohio State, and you leave, and you give Ryan Day the helm, and now you're back in football because you're making $12 million a year. What kind of precedent are you trying to set for your guys and the people that are under you and the guys that you're ever going to coach again? Hey, man, you get a headache on the sidelines, you're a phony. You want to come get James Craig from LSU? Fine. You want to get Scott Linehan, who got canned because his offense absolutely sucks? Go after it. You want to draft Trevor Lawrence, long hair, pretty boy, the sunshine himself? Go for it. But stop with, I got to talk to my family about this crap first. I think that Urban Meyer has the chance, literally has the chance to go down as one of the best coaches to ever live, and even better than Nick Saban. Here's why. And I think that his legacy got him. Because Nick Saban never won a Super Bowl as a head coach. Now, I get that he's got 6. I get that. Or 7. I get all of that. And you can't take away what Nick Saban has done. But if that man gets the Jacksonville Jaguars to the Super Bowl and they win that sucker somehow, watch out. Because there's going to be a lot of people calling him the best ever. It's surprising to me that people were so energetic behind this, that so many people were energetic that Urban Meyer's back in coaching. Fantastic. He's a fantastic coach. But when you use your family as a human shield to bounce PR of publicity off of because you're too chicken shit to come out and say that you did wrong and you let a woman unfortunately get hit by her husband and you covered it up, at some point, we have to look, that's not okay. That's not okay. And now he's in the NFL. So, hey, you can't, there's a certain amount of things. Demario Davis, the Saints middle linebacker. Demario Davis wears a Save Through Grace headband. Y'all remember that? He wears a Saved by Grace headband. And the NFL makes him take it off because it is not a part of their community standards. Community standards this. You want to know why people aren't watching football? You want to know why people aren't watching the NFL? It's because a guy wants to portray Jesus Christ, and I don't care what, whatever your religion is, it's your religion, but you make that man take it off. But Urban Meyer at Ohio State and at Florida both left those two programs in real shambles. Florida had more people arrested I'm not going to say what I was about to say, the cliche. And Ohio State, someone got beat. Literally. But it's okay. Blake, it's okay, man. It's okay. It is a joke, is what it is. Sean Khan, screw you, man. Anyway. Daniel Dees, he's going to be on tomorrow on AYS Sports. He's going to be doing the AYS Fight Club. He says, ignore my Titans bias, but Urban Meyer going to struggle and then dip because of health reasons. That's exactly what he's going to do. Carlton Cisco, what's up, brother? He says, all this talk about Gilbert has me wondering about 6'7" tight end freshman Cole Taylor Let me read that again. All this talk about Eric Gilbert has me wondering how 6'7" tight end Frosh, maybe he's just saying freshman Cole Taylor. Can we speculate on his future? It's not Eric Gilbert's job when he walks in, and Cole Taylor's going to make it a really big battle for him. Bundy says Urban only goes to teams that are on the brink of being good. He will get Trevor Lawrence. I agree with that. Aaron, I'm glad you brought this up. Aaron Adams on Facebook Live says this. He says, ask Blake, thoughts on Pete Golding potentially going to Texas? We talked about that yesterday, Aaron, that he's going to move west. And Alabama fans, you better get look, Nick Saban's Nick Saban, but what did I tell you guys yesterday? Remember the triple D, the AYS triple D. Dominating defenses are dead. And so when a defense is only giving up 19.5 points per game, that's pretty damn good, man. Typical. Ed Orgeron, you know what's crazy about all of this? Ed Orgeron, and it's all because of winning. That's all that this is. Nick Saban does not get along with his coordinators at all. Look at how many people left him. Now, some for other coaching jobs did not get it, but some wanted to get away from him, like Pete Golding, Lane Kiffin, etc. Rhett Lashley. So this isn't just Ed Orgeron that's going through this, right? Like, he's not the only head coach in the SEC, no less, that has this problem, because a lot of people are leaving. And look, Pete Golding, I think, is a good DC. I was told he might want an LSU interview. It doesn't look like it's coming, but it might. We'll find out tomorrow. Tyler Mann says, ask Blake, any news on Ray Thornton enter the transfer portal? No, nothing really other than he's there. Look, Ray Thornton's been a good player, man. He's been a good player. He served his time. Let's go, you know. Blake Quibido says, Urban Meyer word association, sleazy. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that one. Sleazy. Carlton says they've got a bunch of picks. They do have a bunch of picks. Jacksonville has a crap ton of picks. Adam Keene says, ask Blake, do you think we should have just kept Bo Pelini to this point? No, I don't. No, I don't. If they wanted to make a change, but hey, you got to live with it. Jamie says, heard a rumor today that Urban might take Fields over Lawrence. Would be stupid. If he does that, it would be stupid. I can't see him making that move. I don't think Sean Collins, the Jacksonville Jaguars owner, is going to let him make that move. Mr. Starkey, what's up? He says, ask Blake, if Urban wants James Craig, does he take that job? That's a fantastic question. An absolutely fantastic question, Starkey. I don't know that. I think that money would really come into play here, because LSU is not going to be able to fork out the money that assistant coaches get paid in the NFL. I don't know if James Craig is the individual, however, that money's just going to drive him away. Because if you remember, he was with the San Diego Chargers and came down to coach at LSU because of his connection with Ed Orgeron. I think his name's going to come up. It's going to be maybe hit or miss. There's going to probably be an article or two. I don't know if he's going to go. I would be shocked, honestly, if he goes. But James Craig, his name's going to pop up. I'm going to tell you that right now. And and look, it might not, but they're definitely going to vet him. I promise you that one. Jacob Samuelson said, ask Blake, Urban is walking into a great situation, and he's going to mess it up by bringing in Linehan. He might, but let's not act like Urban Meyer's not going to call that offense. Oh, it's our boy Country. Country 2529. He said, ask Blake, what you country cousin? LOL, since we going to need a linebackers coach, who you thinking? It's a great question, Country. I'm not really sure. Man, Country, it's good to see you. It's good to see you, Country. I'm not sure who they going to go get. I'm not sure. But I'll tell you a bit right now. Ed Orgeron said he's got to go get him a linebacker. I can't talk like that. Country, you know I love you, brother. He said he's got to go get him a linebackers coach. Said nothing about defensive line coach. Why do you need to go get a linebackers coach if you need a defensive line coach too? If your defensive coordinator is not going to coach the D line. And another thing, Terry Fontenot, who's with the Saints right now, looks to be the next GM with the Falcons. That only means that probably Joe Brady will be the next head coach if I had to assume. So if the Falcons can interview Terry Fontenot, why can't LSU technically interview Ryan Nielsen? Like, let him get it out there. Sean Payton's going to get ticked off at Ed for doing this, but who cares, man? Who cares? Carlton Zisco says, ask Blake, will Urban Meyer have Pete Carroll NFL success? He really could. Look, Urban Meyer's a really good coach. He's a damn good coach. But I think it's really crappy, like extremely crappy for all this to go down. Like my man got a pass. Guys, do you remember the end of Florida and Ohio State? Everybody wants Urban Meyer because of winning, but morals are out of the window. They told that man that he couldn't coach because he has a system in his head, and if he gets too worked, that thing might pop and it can really do damage, and he can have a stroke. Hey, but man, $12 million is $12 million though, ain't it? I tell you what, you know what I would do for $12 million? I would paint my entire house every single day with a Q-tip if it meant that I got paid $12 million. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to tell you that right now. I would take a Q-tip and dip it in some paint, and I would go brick by brick, siding by siding, wood by wood, and I'd paint that sucker for $12 million a year. Paint, paint, paint. Paint, paint, paint. $12 million a year. That's the only reason he's back. The only reason he's back. Wolverine Patrick, that's got a picture of Danny DeVito with Wolverine claws on YouTube, says, ask Blake, please talk me into Nielsen. it feels like, excuse me, I'm having a hard time reading tonight. He was the last girl at the bar and we're desperate. I don't get it. That's a good point. He's a damn good D-line coach. He's a damn good coach. He knows exactly what Ed Orgeron wants to run. He knows exactly what a Pete Carroll would want to run defensively. I don't know. Look, go look at North Dakota or North Carolina State when he was there in the defensive line that he produced. And a lot of people talk highly about him and the philosophies that he brings. Carl Dunn says, if Craig leaves, go get Kevin Mawai. Yeah, I know that there was a report that came out there that said he was coming back. That was a load of boo-boo. A load of boo-boo. Brad says, I think they tried to force the ball to him. Who are you talking about, Brad? Zach says, ask Blake, who we go get if Craig moves on? I mean, Kevin Mawai was a name that just popped up. Definitely a name that you can go get. Let me think. I'll get back to you on that one. You know who I'd really, really want? But he's inaccessible. Go get Kevin Mawai. But listen, just because he did really good at LSU as a player doesn't mean he's a great coach. Brett Creel says, ask Blake, what are you hearing about the quarterback situation next year after hearing Coach O say he's not committed to Brennan in 2021? Well, damn, Brett, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm glad he said that. Hey, Big Daddy, Brennan, you better get ready, Hoss. Like, you know what I'm saying? You better come in here ready to work. Hey, you obliques hurting? Okay, we love you, but it's time to get rid of it. We were told that he was going to be back for Alabama, and he hasn't even back doing the fourth quarter workouts for LSU. Somebody tried to convince me that this man had a hernia. Ain't nobody that man ain't had no hernia. I think it's TJ Finley's and Max Johnson's to lose. I don't trust in Brennan. Do I think that Miles Brennan has the ability to play in the SEC? I do think he has some really good traits that he can play in the SEC. I also think that he also gets hurt way too much. And if you're going to take first team reps, you're going to take reps away from a guy that's going to come in and play anyway. At some point, man, you got to move on. Talking about the girl at the bar earlier from one of the comments, it's like the girl at the bar that you can't get, or the girlfriend that you can't get over is your first love, right? Like your first love, your high school sweetheart. You just don't ever get over your first love and your first sweetheart. Get over that man. Get over that girlfriend. He ain't doing you no favors. Do I want him to come back and dominate for LSU? Absolutely. But he's not doing it. I love that O said that. Hey, man, you better get with it because this train's leaving with or without you. Daniel D says Lamar Williams not holding his people accountable and trying to sweep it under the rug. Okay, Lamar says, wait, how is it Urban's fault that lady was getting abused? Because he covered it up at Florida and he covered it up at Ohio State. There was accusations of this in Florida. He left, meaning Zach Smith, and then went to Bowling Green where Urban Meyer coached. And then he came up to Ohio State with Urban Meyer, and it happened again multiple times that we knew about it. There was text messages exchanged from the lady who accused Zach Smith of domestic abuse violence, and then that she was actually texting Urban Meyer's wife, who is like a counselor or a psychiatrist or something like that. So, yeah. I mean, look, man, he covered that up big time. Stephen Miller says, don't sleep on Taylor and Besh. Yeah, don't sleep on Besh. Look, I think Besh, the flex, the H-back, the tight end, whatever you want to call him, is a stud. Like the steal of the recruiting class, I feel like. Jamie Hodge says, as Blake, but would Kevin Mawai come? I don't know that. Always be good to be home. Jared Whittington on Facebook Live says, ask Blake, who do you think is the top contender for the LSU DC job? Ryan Nielsen. And I don't think it's close. I don't think it's close at this point. This is what if you want the God's honest truth of what I think, here's a God's honest truth. I think that Scott Woodward maybe had his hands in the cookie jar along with Ed Orgeron. And Scott, everybody's blaming, I want to make this clear too, everybody's blaming Ed Orgeron for the Marcus Freeman miss. He wasn't in there for contract negotiations. It's the AD's job to make sure that Jimmy Sexton doesn't pull a fast one on you. Jimmy Sexton's biggest client, Nick Saban. Right? You mean to tell me that you cannot convince me that Nick Saban didn't call Jimmy Sexton and says, make sure Marcus Freeman does not come to LSU? I cannot be convinced. Because not only is he a big-time coach, he's also got like 4 Mercedes-Benz dealerships. You know that man's racking money. He ain't making $7 million a year. That dude's probably making anywhere close to $15 to $20 million a year. And with the Aflac commercials, it wouldn't surprise me at the end of the day, and I'm being serious when I say this, if Nick Saban's not making close to $30 million. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Can't also convince me that he's not taking $15 million of that money and putting it into recruiting and all this other BS too. Steven says, ask Blake, sorry if I missed your response. Next year's receiving core 1 through 4. Kayshon Boutte, Jeray Jenkins. I really think it's a toss-up, really. I kind of just feel like it's a toss-up. Maybe Trey Palmer. I really think you're too deep to make that guess at this point. But Kayshon Boutte is your number one. It's not close. It's a good question. There's guys that I can name off, but I don't want to put them in there right now because number one, we're way too early, and number two, it feels like a lot of guys are battling for 3 and 4 at this point, right? Like Stephen Miller says, Brad Saunier kinda at times, then other times they would send him into witness protection program and he disappear for 2.5 quarters. Who are you talking about, Brad? Oh, Brad said, agreed. Brennan has the arm, but it's fragile, unfortunately. He'll probably start, but won't last because of injuries. No, he won't last. That's why I'm saying you got to, at some point, man, we got to move away from Miles Brennan. We have to move away from Miles Brennan. Now, again, I'm going to have a lot of egg on my face if and when this kid comes in here and lights it up. But when you're hurt every single year, it doesn't give me any confidence in you whatsoever. Ever. And then Stephen Miller says this too. He says Brennan has been on campus almost a half a decade and hasn't been healthy for one complete season. Why do fans think 2021 will be any different? The man with the Maction Minute. I think Max Johnson or TJ Finley is going to be your starter, personally. Adam Contreras says Marcus Freeman went back to Cincinnati. He talked to them. Fickell told him to talk to Bo first, and then he took the Notre Dame job. I think he duped it. No, he duped LSU is what really happened. It's going to come out. Guarantee you it's going to come out that he told Scott Woodward Thursday night or Thursday before he left and told Ed Orgeron he was coming and to send him a contract. I'd bet $1,000 too that they sent him a contract and he never signed that sucker, and they got worried because they didn't hear from Jimmy Sexton or Marcus Freeman. Blake Villers 33 on Periscope says, as Blake, is Florida about to be in the NCAA naughty corner with Tennessee and Georgia? It sure looks like it because he hit the Uncle Steve. Cousin Eddie. That's what they call him. Cousin Eddie. He's got a show clause. Lamar Williams says Coy Moore. Yeah, you can throw Coy Moore in there, but does someone like a Trey Palmer step up and take a position from a Coy Moore? Does one of these talented freshmen come in and take a position kind of like a Kayshon Boutte did last year with a full off season? So that would be the question that I would have. Does Eric Gilbert come back, and does he make an impact? That'd be very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. LSU football recruiting. I'm just going back and to see because I want to see some of the receivers. Deion Smith, the wide receiver out of Mississippi, who reminds Coach O exactly of Justin Jefferson. He could be put in there. Definitely be put in there. And I don't think that you have a wide receiver in this class that's going to be that dominant. Maybe Malik Neighbors, maybe. I think it's just the ultimate battle, if we're being honest. Yeah, you know what's interesting? I saw somebody say Kirkland. Did y'all see today that Jontre Kirkland posted an Instagram video of them catching balls off the jug machine, and his hashtag was hashtag 10,000? Doesn't that sound like something Joe Brady did when he came here? Thank you, DJ Mangus. You beautiful, beautiful human being. Chris Hilton. I forgot about Chris Hilton, says Mark. Chris Hilton's another good one. But that's why I don't want to put Coy Moore in there, too. Source. Adam says, but that's from Ohio. Yeah, but Ohio's people, the Cincinnati people, literally on their board, apparently, I found this out Monday, were putting on their board that he accepted with LSU at I don't know, maybe 3 o'clock. But I'm not gonna say your source is wrong, but we'll see. Jason Sanders says that 10,000 catch off season is going to have all those guys getting reps. Could easily. Chris Landry says, we have a talented backfield and lots of them got playing time. Who do you think will step up and be the horse? It's a good question. I think Amari Goodwin or Corey Connor could definitely get some reps. I don't know what Jake Peetz likes in a running back. Remember, he coached Christian. He was a running backs coach when Christian McCaffrey was there. I mean, same body type as a John Emery. When Christian McCaffrey almost won the MVP, his running back coach, Jake Peetz. Man, it's going to be a talented coaching room offensively now. Really talented. Because not only did Kevin Falk play with the best quarterback of all time and is a great running back in his own right, he also has a guy that coached that position in the NFL and had Christian McCaffrey. And Christian McCaffrey caught more passes out of the backfield and in the slot than any NFL player. Really? Wasn't it in a season? I mean, the man had 1,000 rushing, over 1,000 and 1,000. Nuts, man. Really nuts. The phone's ringing. It's Cade. Sorry, brother. You can't call into the show no more. You can't belittle my guest and think that you can call into the show. You can't belittle me and think that you can call into the show because we will get clapped. All right, one last thing before we get out of here. Why are you skipping games, all of the Eric Gilbert questions? Jared, because we talked about it for literally 20 minutes to start the show. Literally, it was our main topic to start. That's why I've been missing them. And look, I don't know how many comments. Let's see. Jared, we also have 1,807 total comments on all three platforms. That's why. If you missed the beginning of the show, Eric Gilbert looks like he's at 85% lean back to LSU. But I don't trust that. I don't care if Ed Orgeron himself. I don't care if Ed Orgeron himself tells me that he is a lean back to LSU. I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to believe it. You know what drives me nuts is a guy that I blocked on this page keeps calling us. So I have to unplug it. You want to know why I haven't been telling you can take phone calls? Is because I blocked this dude and he calls me from other people's phone numbers because he's jealous because I won't let him on my podcast. Guys, listen, I love each and every one of you. I appreciate it. But look, if I've never met you before a day in my life, I'm not going to bring you on video on my podcast. And if I don't do it, don't get upset and throw a hissy fit. Jesus. All right, one more question, and I'm going to pick the Saints game. Arlen says, ask Blake, is it just me or did we come together like a team or like we did last year? I never heard the one team, one heartbeat. That's a good point. No, I didn't either. All right, let's talk about the Saints game and we'll get out of here. Let's break this down. I don't think offensively for the Bucs that their offensive line is any good at all. And really the Saints exposed them twice already this season with a bad offensive line play. I think with Trey Hendrickson possibly coming back, I think that you can get after Tom Brady. On the offensive side for the Saints, I think that they've been very balanced. They came out and threw the ball a lot in the first half, and they got back to running the football, and they were able to take over the game. Okay, really, really, really able to take over the game. I think that they'll be able to do that. Now, Devin White's back. I think that front seven for the Bucs is absolutely nasty and sick. This game scares the ever-living mess out of me. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pick the Saints to lose. I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm not going to pick the Saints to lose. But I could easily see this game being 31-30. A nail-biter. I do not have confidence that it's hard for me to just visualize. It's hard for me to visualize Tom Brady getting beat by the same team 3 times in a season. I'm not saying he's going to win. It's just very hard, right? So I'm going to pick the Saints 31-30 in a nail biter. The Bucs mix an extra point. That's what I'm going to pick. All right, guys, my name's Blake Ruffino. Jordan says LSU postgame Saturday. No, but we have we might could do a Saints one, but a lot of people have been doing some Saints ones. We might do a Saints one. We'll see. All right, guys, my name's Blake Ruffino. We are done for the week, but we might be back this weekend. Jordan, if you guys want us to do it, hey, Let me know in the comments. Do you guys want us to do a post-game Saints show? Jacob Simmons says, better visualize it. It's going to happen. Look, I hope it does. And I think that they can win. It's just hard for me to see the GOAT doing that. It's hard. I think the Saints are going to win. Let's not get that twisted. But this game really makes me nervous. Very, very much makes me nervous. So I'm not going to say, well, the Saints are going to go out and do what they did to the Bucs like they did the last time they played them. That ain't going to happen. Tom Brady ain't going to let that happen. Everybody's saying, yeah, let's do a postgame show. Okay, well, let me ask the wife. So if we don't do it, then hey. All right, guys, my name is Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? All of you, we will see you Sunday. Have a good night.